Trevor fires for the back of the end zone, and that ball is going to be caught for the touchdown by Brian Thomas Jr. What a throw and catch. He tiptoed along the end line. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Fires deep downfield. Got a man. It's Brian Thomas Jr. 50 in the Colts territory. 35, 30, 25, 10, 5. Touchdown, Brian Thomas Jr. Just went 85 yards.
He's a playmaker. That's what stands out to me. It's just not one thing. We all know he's fast. You know, I can't really point to his releases. I can't really point to how he comes out of his routes. He just makes plays.
Looking, steps up, fires to the back of the end zone. Brian Thomas Jr. Did he double catch it? Yes, it is. Touchdown. He bobbled it, but hung on. Brian Thomas Jr. has the score, and Jacksonville is taking the lead.
Yeah, he's only going to get better once he masters his craft as far as his stance off the line and as far as come off the ball. You'll see in games to come, he'll get better, and even next year, he's going to be that much better than he is right now. Right now, he's just getting his feet wet and showing us what he can do. So I'm looking for this guy to be a big-time playmaker for us in the years to come, and I'm glad to have him part of the Jaguars.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
Rabbit, at least for Jaguars Today purposes. Tony, good morning and happy February to you as we kick off a fresh week and a fresh month here on Jaguars Today. Still no offensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
But his main weapon was on display at the Pro Bowl flag football competition.
Yes, he was.
This weekend. Brian Thomas Jr. had a nice showing for himself. The LSU wide receivers who assembled there scored 8 touchdowns between them. They're pretty much dominating the National Football League these days with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Now, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. coming in to join them. So for that and for, I guess, what they're calling the punt perfect competition, the Jaguars had some bright spots at the Pro Bowl festivities this
Yes,
weekend.
they did. I had it on yesterday. It's not that I was locked in with it. I was doing whatever, but I did have it on for the whole 3 hours or whatever it was. So I saw parts of all 4 quarters of the flag football game at least. I was watching, like, out of the corner of my eye, the punt thing, and I was like, what's going on here? And then Logan went up, and I was like, all right, I can watch him punt 6 times, no big deal. And then it goes to overtime or whatever the heck they were calling it. And then they tied again. I think it was the 3rd or 4th overtime.
4th overtime.
Yeah, it's when he finally made the one. And the Detroit punter, I think it was.
Yes.
Missed his, and that was it. Logan got the AFC their 3 points.
The drama of Pro Bowl weekend knows no
nearly
bounds.
enough for the AFC.
Yeah. You're a much better person than I. I saw highlights, and I saw them on Twitter, and that was it. I saw one of Logan Cook's punts, the last one, and I saw Brian Thomas Jr.'s touchdown catches. That's about it.
Yeah.
Hope Ross Matisic snapped it well.
His snap was pretty good. Like, the only thing they had him do, they had like a relay thing they did with a bunch of the guys that I don't know what else they were going to do with them. Essentially, I think some of them participated in the tug of war as the other event that they were in. But
Matisic was in the tug of war.
Yeah, but they weren't going to be playing flag football.
Right.
Not necessarily. So they had other events for him, and they had these bowling pins set up, and it was the long snap thing was on the relay. When he got tagged in, he had to snap it and knock down all the pins. Right? And Matisic on his first snap was able to knock down all the pins.
Good job, Ross.
That's the extent of what I saw him do, and I know he participated in the tug of war.
I wonder if you go and you're just like, no, I'm good. I'm here to be a Pro Bowler. I don't want to play in your silly games. If that is an issue, or if they've got plenty of people that are looking forward to doing it. It seems like they like playing in the flag football game.
Having fun.
Yeah. So until the first guy, tears up his knee doing that, it'll continue to be fun.
And they got different guys trying different stuff. Like Jahmyr Gibbs had the interception in the end zone yesterday. Like, that's fine. That's kind of what the Pro Bowl has always sort of been.
Sure.
Let the guys go run around a little bit that day.
Look, once you're there and you get the jersey, that's it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to see any of this other stuff. I'm happy for the Jaguars and make it there. Hopefully, in the future, we'll have one of those runs where we have several years where we get 8 or 9 guys at the Pro Bowl like the super elite teams do. But That's probably far down the line.
Yeah.
Still to come. And I get it. You're fighting an uphill battle with Pro Bowl voting in Jacksonville,
Absolutely.
Florida. So that's a whole other issue.
And like the biggest thing I saw going into the weekend was they were talking to Peyton Manning's son. Had been out there one of the days at practice. He was just throwing to different guys, and I saw him throw like a fade route for a touchdown to Jamar Chase, I think it was, on the play. But they were talking to the young man in the end zone, and in the camera behind him, it was Peyton talking to Brian Thomas Jr. Like, I was like, I wonder what's going on
Yeah,
there.
I did see that.
Yeah.
How old is Peyton's son, roughly? Give me a...
He looked like early teens, it looked like to me, like 15, 16.
Because we just haven't heard about him like we heard about Arch on the rise.
No, yeah. Well, because he's the son of the oldest Manning, and Peyton's the middle Manning.
Sure,
and
but he's plenty old enough to have a kid.
They're all getting
college
there now.
age
Yeah,
now. If
Says he's 13.
Yeah.
13, okay. That's
he's
fine.
a big kid for 13.
Oh, look, I'm sure he'll be a quarterback, and I'm sure he'll be a highly coveted one. The Manning name carries a lot of cachet.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt that Peyton's going to need to maneuver it to get his son drafted like LeBron did, but, so be it. Whatever the case, man. I mean, I'm over the Pro Bowl festivities. Happy for the guys from the Jags that made it there. It means something to them, I'm sure, and hopefully they'll be joined by a bunch of teammates next year. Right now, Tony, the search goes on. Campanile, I think, is where we're landing on Anthony, the new defensive coordinator. Campanile, not Campanile, not Campanile. A lot of other things that have been said wrong by me and Tony included, but Campanile is where we think we're at on that one. But he's lonely, and Heath Farwell waiting for their offensive coordinator compatriot to join them. We don't have that yet, but we do have a few members of the Jags coaching staff getting filled out. Richard Angulo returns as the tight ends coach, but Tem Lukabu is the new linebackers coach. Matt Edwards will coach the defensive line. So a few assistants have been added to the Jags staff. They got a long way to go. They got a lot of spots to fill there. OC, obviously the big one at the moment that's hanging out there, and they interviewed 3 guys so far, Tony. I don't know if that's where their wish list ends at this point in time. I mean, I think once the Jags hit their 4 defensive coordinators, I think Campanile might have been the 4th one to interview, and they settled on him and, didn't see a need to go any deeper than that. So I wonder if the Jags have their guy in mind. Now it's a question of, can we land him? But Grant Udinsky is the latest one, 28 years old is what he is. And look, I mean, obviously Liam Cohen is not afraid of going with a youth movement on the coaching staff, although he did apparently speak with Ron Rivera about an undisclosed spot on his staff. And, if you're looking for that veteran presence who's been a head coach, maybe knows the ropes a little bit, somebody to lean on as a sounding board, wouldn't hurt to have him in the building.
No, yeah.
But this Udinsky guy apparently has been sought after by as many as 4 other teams, for at least considered for their offensive coordinator position. So whether teams think he's ready or not, I think it's pretty clear the league sees him as a rising star eventually at that spot.
Yeah, we'll see if that's where everything winds up, right, with the Jags.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be him or not.
But they are going super young in a bunch of different spots there on the staff so far. Rivera would be interesting if they were able to bring him in as the more veteran voice with all the youth that they have in the building right now. That would make a lot of sense. We talked about that making a lot of sense if they got a more veteran guy to be the defensive coordinator, right, that had that kind of experience. Well, they didn't go that direction. They went with Campanile. So we'll see if they do that a little bit more with more of an advisory role. It's certainly all the offensive guys they're talking to, none of these guys are that.
No.
Right? Like, it's none of the veteran presence kind of thing. The closest thing they had to that among the guys they talked to was Chip Kelly.
Did they even talk to Chip Kelly?
Like, I just heard they had some kind of interest. Like, I don't even know if they talked
Right, that was put out immediately after Liam Cohen accepted the job and he was a name to watch for.
Sure.
He has now taken the role with the Raiders, and he's going to be the highest paid coordinator, ironically enough, as Liam Cohen was set to be the highest paid coordinator had he remained in Tampa. But you're not even in that market if you're looking at a coordinator coming in here who's not going to call plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, and it's I've been watching some of the fans in Houston, which apparently, they were in on Chip Kelly.
A number of them really wanted Chip Kelly.
And it's their head coach right now is getting $4.8 million a year. Are they going to bring in an offensive coordinator that's getting $1.2 million a year more than the head coach?
No.
Like, you would think they'd have to redo the contract for D'Amico Ryans to make that kind of thing happen, or is that too much to bring that kind of, what are we doing?
Man, that's a surprisingly low number for D'Amico Ryans.
I when I saw it, I was like, really?
$4.8 million a year. You're talking
Yeah.
about somebody, that you're going to have somebody this year on the Jags probably that's making $4.8 million that they cut midseason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just what it is. It's it's not veteran minimum. It's better than that, but it's not break the bank money in the National Football League. And for a position like head coach where you can break the bank and it doesn't impact you salary cap wise, that's why, you're paying Liam Cohen what? I don't care what they're paying Liam Cohen.
No.
Don't care one iota. That's Shad's money, and you can say, hey, look, it all gets filtered down into ticket prices. And I certainly understand it from that point of view. If you feel that that is a negative impact on you. But me personally, I hope he opens up the wallet for everybody every year, and pay for the best talent that's available out there. But Udinski at 28 years old, Tony, would be the youngest of the three candidates. Tavita Pritchard is 37. He'd be the old man in the room. And Nate Shieldhouse is 34 years old. So it's going to be a young offensive coordinator, it looks like, unless there's a surprise candidate,
Yeah.
which at this point, I don't know. Who would a surprise candidate be? It'd be a surprise, right? That's why we wouldn't know. But
Right, yeah.
what I'm saying is you've had all the time you need to get your ducks in a row to line up these interviews. We've heard nothing else. That doesn't mean they won't interview anybody else, but I think the likelihood is right now you're going to get one of these three guys, and you're going to have a super young coaching staff with Campanelli. What is he, 42, I think, or is he 46?
42.
42. Okay, so he's 42, so he's the old man on the staff at the moment, although I'm not sure how old Heath Farwell is, but you get the idea. They're going with youngsters relative to what you see in the National Football League, and that can work out just fine. We'll get the opinion on it of Hayes Carline, who's going to join us coming up here in about 30 minutes or so, as we like to bring in a different Jag reporter each Monday to look back on the weekend that was and assess the current state of affairs. So we'll do that with Hayes coming up. It is Super Bowl week. We're 6 days away from Super Bowl 59, so we'll mix in some talk of that this week. And today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, because tomorrow's Tuesday Top 5 is going to be draft related. It's going to be if anybody available at 5. They're all available. Anybody, whatever order, Travis Hunter included. What is your top 5 wish list for players that could be available with the 5th pick and who you'd like to see the Jags take? Not knowing right now what they're going to do in free agency and what they'll obviously do later on in the draft. Mm-hmm. But today, just trying to dig a little deeper. Some people like Travis Hunter. Some people tweet us and go, anybody but Travis Hunter, or no way I don't want Travis Hunter, and there are different reasons that they give. So which of these best matches your opinion on whether or not the Jaguars should draft Travis Hunter if he's available with the 5th pick? And 2 are positive, and 2 are ones that make you question. The first one, he's simply going to be the best player available. Okay, if he's there, and that's your opinion. Number 2, he's a unique two-way talent. So he may not be the best receiver. He may not be the best corner, but it's the combination of different things he can do and the value he presents. Number 3 is leaning into the same thing, but from the other side. Well, what is he? Is he a great corner? Is he a great receiver? Is he going to dabble in both? What position is he going to play? And then finally, you just think he's overhyped. He's not as good as he's made out to be, that maybe he has benefited from the attention that comes from being a two-way player, which elevates him. I had somebody ask me, what has Travis Hunter done that's elite other than play both ways? I said, I don't know. Winning the Blitnikoff Award is pretty elite, right? I mean,
it's not, it expresses some talent.
Right. I mean, whether or not you were the best receiver or not, maybe there's a little bit of politics in there, but he did win the award. And he's certainly, I don't think, undeserving of being included among the finalists, but that person's feeling was he got hyped up more because of the fact that he does play both ways. I don't know. You look at those raw numbers that he put up as a receiver in Colorado, and I don't think he got overhyped, but that's me. maybe you do. And so we've got about 250 votes on that one already with less than an hour on the board. So you can vote there. If you like, at MD_1010XL. Don't forget at 1010XL Fat Tony and at 1010XL Denmark.
I need some Girl Scout cookies.
Did you have any Girl Scout cookies this weekend, Dylan?
No, but my neighbor was selling them outside the yard this weekend.
Have you ever heard of the show on Netflix called The Recruit? Have you heard of that?
I think I've heard of it.
Okay, I
watched
watched the first season when it came out. I don't know, a year ago, whenever it was. I can't tell you. But season 2 came out, and I didn't really remember all the particulars. So I decided I'll rewatch season 1 and get caught up, and that'll give me something to watch, and then I'll get into season 2. And at one point, the recruit, the star of the show, who's a lawyer for the CIA, goes to some event where it's open bar, and what does he order? But a White Claw. That's right. And they said, sir, we have everything here. It is open bar.
Hold my pocket.
And he wanted a White
Ain't no
Claw.
laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
That's right. Yeah, did you just call yourself pockets?
I think he
No,
There for a second, you owe me a
I had
quarter.
them side by side, and
All
I
right.
hit the wrong one.
Fair enough. Too much White Claw on the diet this morning for you. So hit us up on the phone lines if you want to get in, talk a little Jaguar football today at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Go to the YouTube virtual studio chat as well. Again, asking which of these best matches your opinion on whether or not the Jags should draft Travis Hunter if he's available with the 5th pick. Yes, he's the best player available. Yes, he's a unique two-way talent. No, what position is he going to play? No, he's just an overhyped player, period. So you can share your thoughts on that with us coming up. Again, Hayes Carline now 25 minutes away, talking Jaguar football with you, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Your home for Gators Hoops is 1010XL.
After a 20-point loss to Tennessee, the Gators head home to the O'Connell Center for combat with the Commodores. Florida, Vanderbilt. Tomorrow night at 7 on 1010 a.m.
Epic announcement. It's been cold in Florida. Epic Cool Heating and Air will tune up that furnace and keep you epically warm. Stay epically comfortable and visit EpicHVACService.com. That's EpicHVACService.com.
Your new roof from Universal Roof and Contracting can help save a life. Percentage of every new roof this month will go to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. St. Jude's is leading the way. The world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer and other life-threatening diseases. Call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection. This promotion ends February 28th. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Hammond, Valentine's Day is coming up. Got any romantic plans?
Dad, I'm married to Clean Air. My plan is to help Jacksonville families breathe easier.
You're helpless, but Clean Air does sound nice. Can duct cleaning really help?
Absolutely. Dust, allergens, even odors can build up in your ducts. Cleaning them now makes your air fresher and healthier for your family. The EPA says better indoor air quality can reduce health risk.
So cleaning ducts are like Valentine's Day gift for the house.
Exactly. Forget chocolates. Fresh air lasts longer and doesn't melt. Plus, we've got a February special, $100 off your total.
All right, sign me up. Maybe fresh air will make Mom fall in love with me again all over.
You'll have to take her to dinner for that, but cleaner air will definitely help.
Fair enough. Jacksonville, if you're ready to show your home some love, Google Zerorez and read over 7,000 five-star reviews. Zerorez.
Spelled Florida backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zerorez. Zerorez.
Dreamfinders Homes Monday.
Jaguars Today.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm a
is Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. No matter the weather, Triumph has an unbelievable selection of rides where you can get out and just enjoy the highway.
They do. The new Rocket is out with the new color schemes, the Tiger 1200, which has been revamped. These bikes are nice, gorgeous, and ready to ride.
And if you want to take a look at the selection, they can just roll into the showroom and see a full variety.
We've got them all in stock and ready to go.
So if you log on, cyclesofjacksonville.com, search the Triumph line, and then head into the showroom, you'll be impressed. Cycles of Jacksonville.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
New Orleans, a spectacle in the Superdome. 4 quarters in the French Quarter.
60 minutes of football.
60 minutes!
All right, here we go!
1010XL's coverage of football's favorite day.
This is about us!
Is viewed through Window World of Northeast Florida.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
The Electric Light Orchestra Experience featuring Evil Woman, the American ELO. A concert celebration featuring the music of Electric Light Orchestra. It's February 5th at Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
Prosser here, still telling you about Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Lifetime Enclosures is keeping the sale going into February. Enclosures starting at only $89 a month, and if you get a complete enclosure done, you get free flooring. If you just need flooring, Lifetime Flooring is running a buy one room, get the second room free. Now offering floor coating for that garage or patio deck too. Give them a call or visit their showrooms just off Phillips Highway. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars today on 1010XL.
Apparently Baker Mayfield was reasonably happy. I don't know what else you're really going to say about Liam Cohen if you're a player. You know, got his bag. He helped us. Trevor Lawrence is going to love him. You know, didn't want to see him go, but that's kind of life in the big city. I think the players have handled it pretty well, Tony. I think it's the Buccaneers front office that is still steamed up over this situation. And, look, that's their prerogative, right? They're allowed to block interviews for guys, and anything other than elevating to at least a coordinator position is considered a lateral move. You can be an assistant position coach. Just because you're interviewing for the full-time position coach role does not mean that's considered an upgrade in the way the NFL evaluates that stuff.
And I saw it happen in several spots across the league this weekend.
I saw it happen when Press Taylor was who sought after Press Taylor? Who was it that somebody wanted to interview Press and Doug stood in the way, you know, a couple of years ago. And, you know,
I forget who, but yeah, I remember
so
the
be
story. Yeah. So, like, Okay, they can say no.
Had Doug allowed that interview to happen, who knows? Maybe the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars would have gone differently for them. All right, so here we go on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures here, Tony. What do you guys think Hunter's draft stock would be if he just played one side of the ball? Which side is his bread and butter? I always assumed, not being a hardcore draft Nick, I'm not breaking down the all 22 film of every prospect out there. But I'm an interested draftophile, right? I like following along with it, but I just have a layman's opinion on these kind of players. But I always presumed that Travis Hunter would be a defensive back because that's what he originally kind of came up as, a defensive back, because it feels like it's easier to dabble on offense, right? If you want to throw a package of plays in there for third and long or key situations, or maybe to get 10 snaps in the course of a football game, sometimes even maybe as a decoy, whatever the case may be, it would be easy to moonlight on that side of the ball. But we've had several draft pundits come on and tell us they think wide receiver is the more likely side for him to play. And I thought something Matt Miller said really struck me. What is he going to tell teams he wants to play unless they're willing and open to him going both ways in the National Football League? And maybe they'll give it a try, whoever takes Travis Hunter, at least to a larger degree than we've seen since like the 1960s when there were real two-way players still hanging on a few NFL rosters back in the day. But in the Super Bowl era, at least, unless you're going to allow that, wouldn't you want to know what Travis Hunter wants to do?
Yeah.
And I thought that was an interesting way. I hadn't really thought about, instead of saying, hey, we're going to use you as this, what do you prefer to do in the National Football League? Because, again, if you're drafting a guy, you're going to make that kind of investment in him in the top five, whether it's the Jags or any other team, you want to get the relationship off on the right foot. You want to have a shared vision of how that's going to go. And if you think about it, just from a monetary standpoint, you're going to ultimately get paid more. If you're a great receiver compared to being a great corner, you're going to make significantly more money as a receiver. So that lends me to think that I could see him choosing to prioritize that side of the ball.
Yeah, I think it would get complicated if you ask him that kind of question. Obviously, it would complicate things if he said, I want to do both. Right? Like, I still want to do both in the NFL. That's what I imagine myself doing, is playing all the snaps at corner and wide receiver for whatever team drafts me. If he continues to want to do things that way, I expect that he'll probably understand they're asking him, what's your preference? Right? And that's what they're trying to get to. We're trying to get to know you, right? We can understand that you want to have an impact on both sides for the team that's going to be drafting. We understand that that's what you want to do. I see more and more, like I'm reading the little write-up that Daniel Jeremiah had on him when he put out his top 50, last week. And it basically said he sees him more as a prioritize him on offense, let him play a little bit of defense, right? And I'm seeing that more and more and more as we get deeper into this. I have no idea what his preference is.
Right, but the question, is he worth, let's say he was only going to ever play one or the other. Is he worth that spot? We've had guys tell us they thought he'd be the highest ranked guy at either position, right? And whether everyone's going to agree with that, we'll find out. Yeah. But he isn't that guy. He does bring at least the promise of somewhere down the line being able to add more value to your team.
I think if he was only a corner or a wide receiver, that he'd be among the handful of guys that we heard Matt Miller talking about being first-round guys at wide receiver. And I think he'd be among the handful of guys that everyone's talking about among the defensive backs, corners, as first-round value guys, right? Like, I think he is that kind of player on either side of the ball. I don't know which direction he wants to lean when he gets in the NFL. I think the money is on the offensive side. Like, if he's thinking, where's the big money going to be when I get that second contract, he should choose wide receiver, right? If that's the priority, it's the money the second time around, then he should choose wide receiver because that's where the bigger money will be for him. And it'll bump his value a little bit more if he gives him anything as a corner while he's doing it.
Or either way, it would bump his value, right? To me, I just look at the numbers. He had 11 pass breakups, 4 interceptions this year. He had 7 in the last 2 years at Colorado, which is not a bad number. 7 interceptions. He had 96 catches and won the Bolitnikoff Award with 15 receiving touchdowns, which was the most in the country this year. 13 yards a catch is okay. It's not eye-popping at the collegiate level. Plenty of guys do more than that, but he was pretty damn good with 1,250-plus receiving yards this year. So I can't tell you how other teams are going to feel about him, but I think there's a good case to be made in what's not a rich wide receiver class that he would be considered the number one wide receiver on the board if he is just strictly a receiver. I don't know as much how he would compare to Will Johnson at Michigan in terms of if you're only going to use him as a corner.
Right.
Will Johnson's a pretty big guy. There may be guys that prefer going with him over Hunter. I couldn't tell you, but he's not that. And he is something a little bit more. How do you factor that in is going to be left up to every team that considers him as an option in the top 5 this year. It's a good question for sure. Hit us up with our poll question today on the X platform at MD_1010XL. We've got different reasons and different ways to look at Travis Hunter, and it's more about how you would feel if the Jaguars were to select him or at least have the opportunity to take him with the 5th pick in the draft. We'll come back, a little hammer time with Hayes Carline on the other side from the Frangie Show, talking all things Jaguars with you as we get the new week started here. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. I love waking up in my house every day looking out those windows. They're absolutely beautiful. Beautify my house. Keep it nice and cool or warm inside, whatever the case may be. Energy efficiency, absolutely. Consumer Reports ranks Pella number 1 in all the major window categories. Whether you're like me and you want to replace all the windows in your house, including my sliding glass door, Pella's the best to go with. Or maybe you just have a single window that you've got an issue with. Pella's showroom on Phillips Highway is a great place to stop by, or you can go online to PellaJacks.com. For the best in the biz, go with Pella Windows and Doors.
Belly up to the bar and talk about your team.
You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Jacksonville's Sports Radio, 1010XL, where friends meet. Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
This is Tony Boselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass. He told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Credit Union in the 2024 Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards. And it's easy to see why. I go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the new Durbin location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
It's a Dreamfinders Homes Monday.
Official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Here's good advice from your friends here at 1010XL. High Flying Jacko here, and the next time you need to send a gift for a birthday, anniversary, wedding, or just for the fun of it, call on the experts at Kuhn Flowers. For over 75 years, Kuhn Flowers does it right.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
U.S. Border Patrol PBR is at 5-Star Veterans Memorial Arena February 22nd and 23rd. For your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets, text PBR to the text line covered by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Around this time last year, I was celebrating. Why? Because I had reached my goal of dropping 40 pounds with Awaken 180. It felt great. We all set goals, but most times we don't have a plan to hit them. So it's not really a goal. I'd call it more of a wish, and we know how that saying goes. With Awaken 180, I didn't wish the weight away. I had a plan, and this time, I knew I'd reach my goal, and I did it. 40 pounds gone in just 2 months. Simple. That was a year ago, and I haven't put on a pound. How do I feel? Like $1 million. Like the horizon line that looked so far away all those years is now right in front of me, and it's a brand new day, and it's time to seize it. Night and day from where I felt carrying around all that weight, having to untuck my shirts, winded trying to tie my shoes. If you're overweight, you know what I mean. Set your goal and know you'll reach it with the solution for weight loss. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
The Florida Forum welcomes best-selling author and journalist Carl Hyacin, February 12th. Funds raised go to a Kids Care Mobile ICU, a neonatal and pediatric critical care transport vehicle. Kids Care vehicles and helicopters safely transport more than 2,200 infants and children a year to Wilson Children's Hospital. Get your tickets at thefloridaforum.com or call 202-2886. 202-2886.
Hey, Icken here for Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code JAX, J-A-X, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code JAX to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, man. Run your game.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
You can't touch this.
Now, more Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, time for a little hammer time on this Monday, kicking off a fresh week of Jaguars discussion here on Jaguars Today. And we turn to our 1010XL Jacksonville Jaguars embedded reporter, Mr. Hayes Carline. The Hammer joins us here on this Monday morning. Hayes, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Great to be with you as always.
Good to be with you as well. Glad you could join us today. I don't think we need to rehash the thoughts on why the Jags went with Liam Cohen. I'm sure you've done plenty of that on the Frangie show over the last week and a half or so. But Hayes, just in terms of the methodology and the speed in which he is filling out his coaching staff, are you comfortable with the hires you've seen so far and the pace of the staff procurement as well?
Well, I'm really excited about this one offensive coordinator that they've got coming in today. He's 17 years old, but he's brilliant.
He might have aged out. He might be too old for him at this point.
He could be. He could be. I think this is what I'll say. I think that obviously they want to embrace modern football, and it does seem like there's a clear dividing line in the NFL right now when it comes to coaching, particularly offensive coaching. And it seems like you've got a portion of the league that's kind of still in the 2000s, early 2010s offense. And then you've got the new offense, this new version of where offensive football is going. And Shad Khan clearly wanted to get into modern football. It was a phrase he brought up a couple of times at the Liam Cohen press conference introductory, and it's something he talked about in his off-season or his presser with Trent Baalke. Talking about we need to be more deceptive, we need to be more unpredictable, and so I think they're going all in on that on both sides of the ball, and I think it makes sense. There's not going to be an in between. It's either going to be fantastic or it's going to be a disaster. I mean, there's obviously a lot of inexperience, and that can be a concern. But, I do think the NFL is really taking a big step forward from an evolution standpoint. And we talked about it last year with Doug Peterson and Press Taylor. It just felt stagnant. It felt like when you watched other games around the league and saw those offenses, it just felt like those offenses were doing creative, innovative things, and we just weren't seeing that here. So obviously it's a risk to go young, but I think if you're going to do it, now is a good time to do it because the league really seems like it's been over the last 2 or 3 years kind of springing forward, and now the Jaguars are getting really invested in that conversation. And again, even on the defensive side of the ball, obviously Campanile is 42, but he spent most of his life stopping the spread. That's when he came up as a defensive mind. The spread offense had become the thing, and so he's a young coach. He's not having to sort of readapt to where offense is going. This is where offense has been his entire defensive career. When you look at the rise of the spread offense, particularly in the NFL over the last 15 years. So, yeah, I think it's exciting, and Liam Cohen has my full confidence. And until I start to see cracks, I mean, I'm optimistic and hopeful, and excited to see what this brand of football look like.
When do you expect the Jaguars will hire an offensive coordinator and, more importantly, perhaps the general manager, whoever that's going to be?
I would think in terms of the GM, I would think the Boselli role has to be crystallized before they can probably really go too deep into the general manager search, because if I was a general manager prospect and the Jaguars reached out to me, I think I'd need to know more. I mean, you obviously know Liam Cohen is going to have considerable power. So that right there, it at least creates a little bit of a unique model. Certainly not a deal breaker for a GM, but it's a little bit unique in that the coach is already in place and has obviously been guaranteed a lot of power through ownership. So you already have that. Then you've got this Tony Boselli kind of floating role where ownership has said, well, there will be a role, but we're not sure, the significance of that role. We're checking with the league to see. I mean, obviously, if it's executive vice president of football operations, then that's going to be a position of significant power. So I think for a GM prospect, it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm sort of the third guy. I'm behind the EVP, obviously, and it seems like Liam Cohen's going to have more power. So, I think for some that might be a little bit of would that turn them off to the opportunity? It could. These guys have dreamed about, running their draft boards and things like that. And, you may not have the power here that, that a lieutenant is seeking. So I would say until we know the Boselli role. Now, if the Boselli role is an advisor to Shad Khan, and that's really about it, then the general manager now, that role is obviously going to have more weight. So I would think until Shad makes his determination on which I would think that's got to be close. I mean, I don't know really how much more you would need to see, or obviously Boselli has been helping Shad, so I would think that's a decision that should come very soon.
Talking here with Hayes Carline from the Frangie Show. Hayes, is it too much for a 39-year-old first-time head coach that he may ultimately, he's going to have influence in hiring the GM? He may have the tie-breaking vote, so to speak, on draft, and certainly the final say on the 53, and he's going to be calling plays in his first year on the job. Are we setting Liam Cohen up for failure by putting too much on a first-time head coach?
Well, it is interesting because, it seemed like not just the Jaguars, but I think the Jaguars were also in this boat. It was like, well, we're not going to consider Bill Belichick because he's going to want all this power as head coach. And they've ironically like given that same power to Liam Cohen, who, you know, is 39 years old, never been a head coach. It's just sort of interesting how they arrived at, you know, and again, it's not just the Jaguars. No one else in the NFL wanted Belichick either, which is why he's at North Carolina. So, you know, but yeah, it's obviously Shad Khan has a ton of belief in Liam Cohen, and yeah, it's a lot to take on, you know, for a first-time head coach that obviously is going to be as involved in personnel as he wants to be, is going to be his own play caller, and as said, you know, I want to have, you know, I want to have some link to the defense. Obviously, it's going to be Campanelli's unit, and he has said, Liam has said, you know, I want, you know, whoever the defensive coordinator is, this is before he made the hire, you know, I want that to be, you know, his moral compass out there. I want him to feel like that's his product, but certainly I'm not going to just ignore it. So yes, it's a lot to take on. Now, hopefully they've got the right guy, and it'll be fantastic because Liam Cohen is, you know, turns out to be a very gifted head coach and personnel guy. But it is interesting to me that Liam Cohen has secured as much power as he has, you know, considering he really hasn't been in the NFL that long.
How do you assess the job that Shad Khan has done as an owner so far this offseason?
Well, it went from an F to a B, in my opinion. I thought the day he had his press conference with Trent Baalke was his worst day as owner on a lot of fronts. Just looked like he wasn't connected, didn't really understand the game that he's playing with the other 31 owners in terms of trying to secure the Lombardi Trophy, and just didn't really seem to have a firm grasp on the league landscape and his retention of Trent Baalke. Now, to his credit, he obviously was able to pivot and realize his mistake after losing out on Ben Johnson and almost losing out on Liam Cohen. And so, you know, by then firing Trent Baalke, I think it got back to a nice passing grade because, you know, I do think there's a lot of excitement. That's what we wanted. We just wanted a new vision of Jaguars football. You knew Doug Peterson was going to go, but it needed to be the clean sweep of coach and GM. And, you know, when he decided to retain Trent Baalke, there was just no energy in the city. And I don't think there would have been for Liam Cohen as coach had Trent Baalke still been the GM. I think if it was Baalke and Liam Cohen, I don't know that there would have been as much energy and optimism. But with Liam Cohen, you know, basically getting rid of Trent Baalke, it showed me that he's got the competitive killer mindset you've got to have to win in this league. So that showed me a lot about Liam Cohen. I was really impressed that he was able to orchestrate that. And, so now I think, you know, you look at it and you have to give Shad a good mark because here we are in early February, and I think the excitement and the energy and enthusiasm is back. The fan event Thursday night, you know, was a spectacular success. So I think you guys are probably feeling it too, but certainly I feel like, you know, from people I encounter, much more excitement about the Jaguars now with Liam Cohen and a fresh leadership group, however that ends up manifesting itself. I think people are really excited about where the club is going.
Yeah, look, there's no question that, fair or not, Liam Cohen would have been seen as a Trent Baalke puppet if Trent Baalke was
Correct.
Still in place and Liam Cohen was here. Even if it wasn't true, it wouldn't have mattered. That would have been the perception that he was operating under for a while. Last Friday, Hayes, we asked our listeners a question about Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk, whether they think they'll both be back or just one or neither for that matter. You could save a decent amount of cap space moving on from either one. What is the likelihood that Evan Ingram and or Christian Kirk are back here in Jacksonville for at least 2025?
I think they're both going to be back. And I think, again, it goes back to Liam Cohen really needing to establish that trust and partnership with Trevor Lawrence that he's already spoken, you know, so highly of, and how crucial that is, how Trevor's, you know, input is so critical moving forward. And look, we can argue certainly whether Trevor Lawrence has earned that right to have input over the roster. Like, you can certainly argue that. Has he done enough? We know contract, but has he done enough on the field to really warrant, giving input about this is who I want to be here and this is who I don't care if you let go. But they are giving it to him. Liam Cohen was clear about that. And I just think it means Christian Kirk is coming back. I mean, I just think the franchise quarterback will look at it as a betrayal, and you just can't have that so early in the partnership. So it's not a crippling number. They're in fine cap shape. And this free agency class, I think, is a total horror show. So I don't think there's really going to end up being a lot of guys actually on the market that would be worth huge dollars. So I think the Jaguars are going to look at it and say, Christian Kirk is a great player when he is healthy, and hopefully he will be. Evan Ingram is obviously a great player. So my guess is that it will be both Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram back because, they're highly productive. And I don't think that the Jaguars are in a position where they need to save that money to allocate it elsewhere. I think they'll be able to do everything they want to do and are able to do with Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram on the roster. So I think they're both back.
Would you have interest in Chris Godwin if he can show that he is healthy, considering the numbers he was putting up in that Liam Cohen offense early in the year last year?
Yeah, I would say if Liam Cohen wants to make a run at Chris Godwin, it's hard to argue that. I mean, because of the familiarity and the success they've had together. So, yeah, if they're comfortable with how the medical checks out, sure. And that obviously would force somebody out. They can't force Gabe Davis out. I mean, there's no financial benefit to that. So you're either sort of stuck with Gabe Davis and, or you cut him, but really it doesn't financially help you. So, if they do bring a Godwin in, I would think that would mean that Kirk is probably out. Mm-hmm. I just think Trevor Lawrence has such a connection to Christian Kirk, both on the field and on a personal level. I just don't think Liam Cohen is gonna release Christian Kirk. Maybe they'll try to redo the deal and restructure it. I don't think Christian Kirk will just take a pay cut. But I would be surprised if Christian Kirk, because of how close he is to Trevor Lawrence, and again Liam Cohen trying to establish, this connection with the franchise quarterback, I would be surprised if Christian Kirk isn't here, which I would think would make it pretty hard for them to go add a free agent receiver.
We have
of consequence.
We have reasons for and against Travis Hunter as our question of the day today, Hayes. I doubt Hunter fits this, but is there anyone that's been discussed to this point so far for the Jags in the draft at number 5 that you just don't like the fit?
No, that's a great question, but I really don't yet. I probably Will Johnson, just because it just feels like you hear inconsistent things about him, depending on the expert that you're hearing from. So, Will Johnson seems like he's got some top 5 believers, but also has guys that think he's more of a mid-round guy. But corner is certainly an important position that they need to address. So I guess I'd say Will Johnson. When you talk about Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, Tedero McMillan, guys like that could be in the mix, I'd probably rank Will Johnson last among that group. But if they take him at 5, it's hard to argue. They've got a huge need, obviously, opposite Tyson Campbell.
All right, Hayes Carline, we've always got a need for the Hammer to join us periodically here on Jaguars Today. You can find Hayes at his name out there on social media or catch him on the Frangie Show every weekday afternoon here on the Superstation. Hayes, always appreciate your insights. Until the next time, thanks for the time today.
Sure thing. Thanks so much, gentlemen. Take care.
All right, buddy. There he goes. Hayes Carline out the door. If you want to react to anything Hayes said, you're certainly welcome to do that at 641-1010, either on the phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. We'll come back. Hour 2 on the way. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Sandwiches, subs, absolutely. Full line of breakfast items. They've got those. Easy to go protein packs and gourmet salads and fruit cups and veggie trays and anything you want for a quick pick-me-up as you're driving around Duval. check, and check on every single box. Dandy's got great variety, all their food made with the highest quality ingredients, and as it's cool out, take advantage of a couple of things that'll warm up your belly, like their country sausage biscuits, a perfect twin pack to enjoy or share each one. An 1.5 ounce country sausage patty from Swaggerty, the best tasting sausage in the USA, served on a Pillsbury flaky biscuit, or maybe the meatball sub, a hearty, messy, gooey, delicious meatball sub with marinara and with plenty of Swiss cheese on a garlic Parmesan sub roll from Village Bread right here in town. Baked locally, delivered locally. Dandy's a local company, and when you're hungry in Duval, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Here's another classic Florida Gator moment.
Kind of calm myself down, pull back tears. You have never seen any player in the entire country play as hard as I will play the rest of the season, and you never see someone push the rest of the team as hard as I will push everybody the rest of the season, and you never see a team play harder than we will the rest of the season. God bless.
1010XL.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
It all begins with Speed Weeks, presented by Advent Health, February 12th through 16th. The Daytona 500 is sold out, but you can still win a 4-pack of tickets to all the other Speed Weeks races. What driver won the 2024 Daytona 500? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010. What driver won the 2024 Daytona 500? For a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Speed Weeks races, text the driver's last name to 641-1010.
Jaguars Today.
It's a Dream Finders Homes Monday.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Pour Downy in the rinse shade.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and get dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Ackerman Urology is now servicing the World Golf Village area. If you have elevated PSA, prostate, bladder, or kidney issues, plan to see the experts at Ackerman Urology right away. Their new location off I-95 and International Golf Parkway.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online.
Uh-huh.
I read that black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. Brought to you by Advanced Business Solutions. The Gators were absolutely dismantled on Saturday, scoring a season-low 44 points in the loss to the Volunteers 64-44. Gators head coach Todd Golden is disappointed in the loss as he believes Tennessee was able to dictate the entire game.
Disappointed that we did not play very well today. I was expected a better effort from our group. Thought a lot of credit to Tennessee. I thought they dictated the game from start to finish. Their physicality really bothered us all night. We couldn't seem to get catches where we wanted. We couldn't seem to get downhill the way we normally do offensively. We've been amazing offensively all year, and we looked terrible today. And I think a lot of that had to do with the way they guarded us clearly, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. Again, they dictated from start to finish, and we just weren't able to adjust with the way they played.
The Gators look to bounce back tomorrow night and when Vanderbilt comes to the O-Dome. Catch the game live on 10:10 a.m. It's 68 degrees at 11 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars today on 1010XL.
I sang this really loud on the break for about 5 seconds. Much to everyone's delight right there. I heard Dylan firing it up, testing out the bed music. Here we are. All right, Tony, here we are is a good point in the program to take a look around the rest of the NFL.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
The Las Vegas Raiders are hiring Chip Kelly as their offensive coordinator. Kelly was last in the NFL in 2016 as the head coach for San Francisco after 3 years in Philadelphia. As the head coach for the Eagles from 2013 to 2015, he'll be getting $6 million a year, reportedly, which will make him the highest paid coordinator in the National Football League. Tampa Bay wide receiver Mike Evans said on Saturday at the Pro Bowl games that he is considering playing for Team USA in flag football for the 2028 Olympics. So be on the lookout for that in 3 years. The Baltimore Banner published an article on Saturday that included 3 additional massage therapists, already with the 6th that the Banner had previously reported as accusing Baltimore place kicker Justin Tucker of inappropriate behavior during massage sessions from 2012 to 2016.
Yeah, remember, they were asked about this during the Deshaun Watson saga, and John Harbaugh said, we have a zero tolerance policy. That comes from on high, that any kind of violence or inappropriate behavior towards women, zero tolerance. Now, they're an organization, of course, that came through the Ray Rice saga. They're also the organization that rallied around Ray Lewis for a long, long time after some questionable behavior once upon a time. But, you know, what makes me believe, Tony, that they're not going to fall back on, well, you know, it's he said, she said. You know, and if they want to keep Justin Tucker, they're just going to lean on that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. There is no guaranteed money left in his deal, apparently. So, you know, there is that if they move on. I'm just glad it's their problem and not our problem. I mean, I hate those kind of stories. I don't want to come on and talk about, you know, the Brandon McManus saga on the plane. You know, like I wasn't there. I don't know the details. I don't want to overemphasize it. I don't want to underemphasize it. It's important. You want quality people on your team, but at the same time, I think I'm not saying that kind of behavior, but I think fans are willing to put up with a certain amount of inappropriate. When I say inappropriate, again, I'm not talking about like sexual harassment, just whatever, knuckleheadedness, right? If you're producing and you're producing is part of a collective winning environment, right? Because we've seen it over the course of history. Teams employ players as long as they're effective and the team is winning with them and they're adding more than they're detracting, they'll put up with an awful lot.
Sure. I do think there are categories for it, even in the fans' minds, right? Like there is the difference. There's the difference between, Dante Fowler Jr. throwing some stuff in a lake.
Yes.
Right.
Even though if it was your granddad,
right.
it's grocery.
But it's just perceived way differently than a man doing anything that involves anything inappropriate with a woman.
Agreed.
At any kind of level. It's just perceived so differently, and it should be. It is different, right? When people do that kind of thing, it's not all that difficult. Keep your hands off people. It's not that hard to do. If you're not being invited to touch somebody, don't touch them. And if you are at like a massage thing, don't invite for touching. That's not part of the deal. They're there to massage. That's it. That kind of thing. If you take it beyond that kind of level, then I hope you do get nailed. Like I have no sympathy for that kind of thing. I don't care if he ever kicks again for Baltimore. Who cares?
Yeah, not me either.
Like that kind of thing. If he did what they're accusing him of, I don't care if he ever gets to play in the NFL again.
Dylan passes this one across from his desk just coming in. How would Myles Garrett look in teal, Tony? Probably look fantastic.
Yeah.
He'd look good in any uniform, but Myles Garrett has requested a trade out of Cleveland. I don't see the Jags making that move considering where their roster is right now. In terms of if you're ranking positions you feel the best about, at least in the starting lineup, defensive end has to be fairly high on the list for this organization. Otherwise, you're in big trouble. But Myles Garrett, his statement reads, as a kid dreaming of the NFL, all I focused on was the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl, and that goal fuels me today more than ever. My love for the community of Northeast Ohio and the incredible fan base of the Cleveland Browns has made this one of the toughest decisions of my life. These past 8 years have shaped me into the man that I am today. While I've loved calling the city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It has always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl. With that in mind, I've requested to be traded from the Cleveland Browns.
Woof.
So there you go. I mean, look, who knows? They may stumble into it. The best luck of all if Deshaun Watson's re-tearing of the Achilles enables them to void his deal, because there is some, and I'm not quite sure whether we know the clear sense of that now anyway. But as it stands right now, they're still pot committed $92 million to Deshaun Watson that is fully guaranteed over the next couple of years.
I can't recall ever seeing a statement like that from a player that's essentially saying, this place that I've been for 8 years, I love it here. I appreciate everything they've done for me. They can't win.
We cannot win.
Like
Isn't that what every trade request, though, ultimately is?
It probably is, but I don't think I've ever seen it expressed that explicitly, right? Like, I've done my time here. I love it here. They can't get the job done. We can't win. I can't win a Super Bowl with the Cleveland Browns. That's not even on the table. I got to go somewhere where that's at least an option for me in my career. I don't think I've ever seen it expressed that explicitly by a player in a trade request. Like, I've seen a bunch of different things expressed. Right. It's
Love
time.
Cleveland, but I want to win, man.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. But I don't think I've ever seen the
maybe not.
I want out of here. They're not going to win a Super Bowl. I can't be here anymore.
Maybe not. But I do think that it's inherent in every trade request
to some degree.
Unless you're just not happy with the organization because they're not paying you the money. Yeah, and there are those, right? Certainly. But whatever the case, I don't think the Jags would be a player for Myles Garrett. But
no.
Let me ask you this. Trayvon Walker is much younger than Myles Garrett. He's coming off back-to-back 10-sack seasons. But at the same time, he may be in line for a big contract extension here sooner rather than later. You're already paying Josh Hines-Allen a ton of money at the position.
They can do it this offseason for the first time.
Right. Would you trade Trayvon Walker for Myles Garrett? Do you think the Jags are in enough of a window that would make?
I don't think Garrett would say yes.
Oh, putting aside his, does he even have a no trade clause? I don't even know if he has the option to say yes or no.
Based on that comment, I think he would make that kind of thing as difficult as he possibly could on the Jaguars.
All right, put that aside.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett's willing to come here. He believes
Straight
Lynn
up
Cohen
trade
is-
one for the other? Yes, I would.
You would. All right. I'd have to think about it, man, because the age is I'd have to feel like I'm going to win the championship in the next 2 to 3 years because I don't know how. Now, that is a position where some guys have aged very gracefully, right? I mean, you've had some of the all-time greats that still are really, really productive late into their careers. But and I think Myles Garrett, in terms of sack production, is trending to be one of the all-time greats. There's no question about that.
Yeah, you look at his rookie year, he had 7. Since then, 13.5, 10, 12, 16, 16, 14, 14.
Right. All right. So 14-4. Is it worth, though, the extra 3.5 to 4 sacks that you're getting compared to what Trayvon Walker's giving you, and knowing that Trayvon Walker still might have upside that he's coming into in the next 5 to 10 years, whatever? I don't know.
You're looking at Myles Garrett, who's been a first-team All-Pro 4 of the last 5 years. He was a second-team All-Pro between that, so he is considered the best player at his position in the National Football League, right? And it's been a half-decade of him being that in the NFL. The doing the calculus on when does he hit whatever the wall is going to be for Myles Garrett is the only question in my mind with any of that.
That's why it's even a question,
like
though, because he will be 30 this season.
Yeah, so it doesn't appear that that's going to be in the next 2 or 3 years to me.
I would agree with that.
You know, that Myles Garrett is going to hit that kind of wall. Now, is there the possibility that with a guy like Trayvon Walker, you're talking about getting that next 10 to 12 years from Trayvon? Yeah, obviously that's the possibility, and you may be talking about 5 for Myles Garrett, but Myles Garrett is the best at his position right now, and I think he's going to remain that for the short-term future of whatever kind of deal that you would make there. Yes, that would be worth having, and you'd have no questions about the questions about Myles has never been what does he give you besides just being the sack guy. They move him all over the place in Cleveland. Like, it's not even a question of like we do in Jacksonville, like, are they ever going to move Trayvon inside to try different stuff with him? It's like they already move Myles Garrett all over the place, and he wants to be moved to the best possible matchup you can give him so that he can win. I'd be all for it if it was a realistic possibility.
Yeah, like I said, I don't anticipate that's more.
I don't think Jacksonville will be involved at all.
I don't either. You're probably right from his standpoint. He's going to try to steer this towards the best team. And then does he want a brand new contract when he arrives in that place as well? And, and that's part of it too, because you don't have to pay Trayvon right now. Myles Garrett's going to make a significant amount of money more than him. What if he comes in and says, yeah, I'll go to your team. You got to make me the highest paid. You got to give me the Nick Bosa contract or the Josh Allen deal. Are you willing to pay 2 guys that level money at the same time? That'd be a factor as well. Anyway, just thought that was interesting as that popped up across the wire just a few minutes ago. Myles Garrett requesting a trade from the Cleveland Browns. When we return, we'll take a look at today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, having to do with Travis Hunter and the reasons for or against why you might be interested in him with the 5th pick if the Jaguars have the option to take him. Also, a couple of people, but one in particular, thinks that we're trying to shove Evan Ingram off the roster. Why would we even consider that? Well, we'll tell you when we come back. On the other side, you're listening to Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Tailgating around the clock.
Either way, we ought to have a lot of fun, huh?
Sports are made for celebrating. With 1010XL.
Upgrade your home with the winning combination of style and performance from Renewal by Anderson. Energy efficient, custom built replacement windows and doors. For a limited time, buy 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires February 28th. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Roses are red, violets are blue. A broken pipe? That's no way to woo. This Valentine's Day, don't let plumbing or HVAC problems ruin the romance. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Dreamfinders Homes, Monday.
On Jaguars Today.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta, No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Tailgate special alert. 3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
The 1010XL restaurant of the day is Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island, Clay County's first and only craft brewery and sourdough bakery with full table service at Barley and Pie in Fleming Island.
Who's going to Athens to join the national champion Georgia Bulldogs?
Where else would you rather be?
National Signing Day is Wednesday. Opened by Baker Glass. No one treats you better. Find out who's heading to your school on 1010XL.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. This Sunday's the big game. Look, don't blame me. This would be much easier if I could say this has finally come. Parties, football, libations, food, all the festivities we welcome every February. The question is, what if you're trying to lose weight but still enjoy watching this with friends? The answer? Nothing. As I've told you before, Awaken 180 is built for real-life scenarios. The reason Awaken 180 is now in their 9th year and growing nationally, the program works. Eat wings and meatballs while watching the Super Bowl. Have a beverage while betting on the Super Bowl. Live your life while enjoying the Super Bowl. I think you get the point. Whether you're in the weight loss phase or in free lifelong maintenance, Awaken 180 won't get in the way of enjoying the big game. Reserve your consultation today at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 for Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Dan Hickett here. Tuesday, February 11th, a very special day in Jacksonville. It's JU Day. Join us as 1010XL broadcast live all day long from the Kinney Center on the beautiful campus of Jacksonville University. Incredible auction items available throughout the day to raise money for JU Athletics. Next Tuesday.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Ready, aim, inspire at the 7th Annual Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation Clay Shoot, Thursday, February 20th at Jack's Clay Target Sports. Hi, I'm Paul Martinez, president of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. We've got you covered. Ammo, carts, clays, delicious food, and amazing prizes. Whether you're a sharpshooter or just in it for fun, this event is for you. Support the important work of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida and Mackenzie's Camp Deep Pond. Sign up at bgcnf.org/events.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, more Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, we continue along here on Jaguars today here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Your Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day has to do with Travis Hunter, the Colorado draft prospect, wide receiver, cornerback. Tony, what do you got coming
The
in?
Jacksonville Jaguars just sent out the email. Tony Boselli has been named the executive vice president of football operations for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, there you go, Mr. Boselli. Will we be taking Travis Hunter with the 5th pick, and what are your pros and cons on that? So EVP of football operations, which many people wanted, and, you know, obviously Shad Khan, this is the guy he wanted to hire, Tony. If he was going to hire anyone in this role, I don't know if that makes you feel better or indifferent or whatever to the Jags GM search now that Tony is a part of that. He obviously is a part of the coaching search at this point. I'm curious what his role will be officially with this team. It says, in addition to his role on the football leadership unit, Boselli will be responsible for player engagement, football technology, football travel and logistics, equipment, sports performance, team security, and on and on. I can't even read all this because it's going off the page on me right here. But so Tony is the new executive vice president of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we'll see ultimately. He had a hand in shaping the coaching search for sure.
Yeah.
But what exactly does that mean for the GM search now that you've got another cook in the kitchen? I know a lot of. I wonder how people would have felt if they had Liam Cohen, they had Boselli as executive vice president, but they had kept Trent Baalke as a GM. Probably not great, because I think people were going to look negatively at any circumstance that kept Trent Baalke employed in the front office with the Jags. But I'm sure we'll learn more in the days ahead what Tony's full role will be with this team.
The email they sent out, Boselli will report to Khan, as does new head coach Liam Cohen. The team's general manager will also report to Khan once that hire has been made. In the weeks ahead, the new general manager will then join Cohen and Boselli to form a football leadership unit that will collaborate and align on all major football decisions, develop a long-term strategy for sustainable on-field success, and provide counsel to the team owner.
Yes. So, is this a 9-to-5 job where Tony's in the office every day, or is the Tony free to come and go and do his normal stuff and, called upon when he's called upon? And this is just the way to formalize it. I think we'll learn more about that in the days ahead. But the Jags' only Hall of Famer to this point is now officially a member of the front office as the executive vice president. So.
Yeah, the press release also included a quote from Big Bo about the job here. My passion for this team, these fans, and this city has defined my football life to the point that it's now ingrained in my family's legacy. Today, that relationship has evolved to include this exciting opportunity, and I find my emotions remarkably similar to what I felt upon being drafted as a Jaguar in 1995. I am so excited and deeply humbled to work with and alongside Shad Khan, the Khan family, Liam Cohen, our new general manager, and the entire Jaguars front office. We will come together to build a lasting foundation and winning tradition that Jaguars fans will be proud of.
Let's hope so. Yeah. Look, I wish everybody that they hire nothing but the most success. I want Jaguar fans to one day know what it feels like to have their team hoist the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah.
Even if it's only the one time. One time can make up for a lot of losing.
Yeah, I got to go find that Boselli EVP pin.
I got like a box of them.
Molly still has a couple.
Yeah.
I think I have like half a box of them. They kind of like nobody ever came to get them. There wasn't exactly a big movement for it. It wasn't like there was this is interesting, what the role will officially be defined as, because it doesn't appear like they needed to go down the Rooney Rule route for this and interview multiple candidates, minority candidates, whatever. They decided we want Tony to be the EVP. And that was something Shad Khan alluded to when they introduced Liam Cohen, that we're going to see what the league requires on this, but Tony's going to have some kind of role with the team. So congrats to Boselli for being named the executive vice president. And hopefully congrats to the Jaguar fans as they get a guy that they respect on the football side added as another voice. And now if you wonder who can Shad Khan lean on, well, you can lean on Tony Boselli. That also comes with the criticism, but I'm sure Tony's well aware of that. When you make decisions that ultimately don't work out, or when you support decisions that don't work out. But that's part of big boy football, and that's part of being a professional in just about any walk of life, although this one is just more media forward. So good luck there to Tony. And just getting back to just restating today's question of the day with Travis Hunter. I guess we'll get into the results of the poll coming up here a little bit more in the final segment. But which of these best matches your opinion on whether or not the Jaguars should draft Hunter if he's available with the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft? Yeah, you take him. He's the best player available. Yeah, you take him. He's a unique two-way talent. No, I'm not sure, because what position he's going to play. Or no, he's just overhyped. I don't think he's as good as some make him out to be. You can vote on that if you haven't already at MD_1010XL. I did want to get in on this. Somebody asked, and I'm having a computer issue. I can't bring up the exact text at the moment. It was basically, why do you guys keep trying to shove Evan Ingram off the roster? This is not going to happen. What are you even talking about? Here it is. I can't wait to hear the answer about Evan. I know Cohen. Here it is. I'm sorry. I jumped ahead one. How can y'all keep putting Evan's name in that bucket, man? He's one of the few playmakers the Jaguars have. Man, stop. The dude's not going anywhere. Come up with a better question. Well, there's a reason why the question's being asked. If you designate Evan Ingram as a post-June 1 release or trade, you save 3/4 of his contract against the cap. Right now, he's scheduled to count $19.5 million. He would only count $4 million in a post-June 1 scenario. If you were to just outright cut him now or anytime and don't designate him as a June 1 casualty, and all that does is allow you to spread the cap hit out over a couple of years.
Right.
He would be a $6 million cap savings, still count $13.5 million against the cap. I don't know if $6 million is enough to move on from Evan Ingram, because then you've got to say, can we replace what he can do for us? But he is going to be 31 years old this year. He was not off to a great start last year, and I realize in 2023 he put up career best numbers, but you have to look at these things. Sometimes you've got to let go of popular players. I'm not advocating it, but to say that you don't understand where the question comes from. Anytime you can get that kind of cap savings on a guy, look, we know what Shad Khan said last year. Now is the time we've got to draft and develop. We got to stop spending all this money in free agency. But they spent a bunch of money in free agency, right? And you've got a new GM coming in and a new head coach. Are you going to tell them you're not going to utilize every resource you have available? You have like $35 million in cap space now, which puts you about middle of the league. Imagine right here, you could add enough to get you up to about $50 million. You could be a player on a Trey Smith or a T. Higgins or whomever you feel is the best must-have piece to improve a position of need on this football team. Now, does that create a need at tight end? Yeah, I think it does, but it's a good tight end draft. You do have Brenton Strange, who is, a good inline guy. John Shipley made the case that he's not sure Liam Cohen's offense really needs a move tight end, but you look at what Cade Otton was able to do. He's not Evan Ingram in that kind of sense, but he's more a traditional, 6'6" inline guy, but with some pass catching chops. When forced to feature the tight end position, he made Otton for a 3-week stretch about the most productive tight end in football.
Yeah.
When Mike Evans and Chris Godwin weren't available. I'm not saying you couldn't get a lot out of Evan Ingram. I'm not even trying to push him off the roster, but he's an obvious spot where going into the last year of his deal, you can save a significant amount against the cap, and you do have holes at other spots. And I think it's got to be something that's getting discussed, at least, behind closed doors down at the Miller Electric Center.
They would discuss it because that's what they should be doing, right? Like, it's not, we're definitely going to move on from Evan Ingram. This is what our options are with different players at different points in their contracts right now. And what can we do financially with all these different things? I'm with you. And we talked about it last week when we had the question on, which of these guys is going to be back. I think Evan Ingram is overwhelmingly likely to be back in Jacksonville next year. But I don't think it's guaranteed. And I think it's for all the reasons that we continue to bring up when we talk about this. They can save a little bit of money if they were to move on from Evan Ingram. I don't know how perfectly he fits in with whatever Liam Cohen wants to do on offense. He didn't need Evan Ingram, that type of tight end in Tampa, to have an effective offense. So I don't know if he looks at it as something he doesn't have to have around, doesn't want. I don't know what level of that kind of thing he's at with what he wants to do in the offense, but at least looking at it and saying, this is what it would look like if they wanted to move on. And this is what opens up for him if they do move on from Evan Ingram. I think that's reasonable. And I would expect them to be having that same kind of, at least thinking about it inside the building. I think they're going to land on Evan Ingram's going to be back in a Jaguars uniform next year, but I don't think they're going to extend him, right? And if there weren't all these other things going on, I think there would be talk about when will they think about extending Evan Ingram, right? Like, I think that would be something everyone would be willing to talk about, because that's what we were willing to talk about 3 years ago with Evan. Not right now. Not with the money that they can save by moving on from him where he's at this point in his career. Brenton Strange is more the inline kind of guy? Is that more comfortable for Liam? I think all the things we're discussing here circles around. It's why we're not all that anxious for Evan Ingram to sign an extension, but it's not that I want to see him go in 2025. And I think it's valuable for the offense if Trevor Lawrence has at least one of those guys back with the level of comfort that he has with Christian Kirk or Evan Ingram. To have one of those guys that he has that level of comfort with in the offense, I think is important. He's developing that with Brian Thomas Jr., but I don't think it's there yet.
Just as we head to break here, Tone, people asking, what does this mean for Boselli's broadcast duties, both on like Jaguars happy hour, game day broadcast? I don't know. Would it be odd to have a team's executive vice president calling games? Probably, but how many teams even have an executive vice president? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's outright precludes him from doing that. I don't know. I'm sure this has been discussed behind the scenes, and I'm sure we'll find out more in the days ahead. I don't think there was anything. Let's see. It just says Boselli's been under contract with the Jags over many years, serving as a game day radio analyst, frequent contributor to Jaguars.com reporting, in addition to representing the team as an NFL Legends ambassador and throughout the community. Does not say whether or not any of that kind of stuff will continue. Obviously, he's going to be an ambassador for the team. But regardless, congrats to Tony Boselli, and hopefully it leads to a more stable environment and better decision-making in the Jags front office ultimately. All right, we'll come back on the other side. We'll take a look at how you're voting in today's question of the day, and we'll kick around the different options and thought processes behind Travis Hunter, why you may or may not like him as the 5th pick in the draft. Potentially. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss into 2025 and into their 11th year serving their clients, helping them drop just a ton of pounds. In the first 10 years Awaken 180's been around, they've taken care of over 23,000 people and helped them lose a combined 750,000 pounds, cutting through the misconceptions of lose weight quick gadgets, fad diets, medications. None of that necessary with Awaken 180. You're going to eat to lose weight. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but you learn what to eat, when to eat, how frequently to eat, and you turn your body into a fat-burning machine. And those 23,000 clients, well, they have a 98% plus satisfaction rating, and along the way, they've helped eliminate the need for cholesterol medication, blood pressure medication, sometimes even type 2 diabetes medications. That's right. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Set a goal. They'll help you reach that goal weight. Then it's free coaching and support for life. Schedule your free consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com. That's Awaken 180.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. 1010XL's Dan Hicken dominated Folio Weekly's Best of 2024. Best TV sports anchor, Dan Hicken. Best radio sports anchor, Dan Hicken. Best radio sports show starring Dan Hicken. 1010XL, the home of Dan Hicken.
When Florida weather hits with epic force, you need reliable air conditioning. Epic Cool Heating and Air is here. Take advantage of our Epic Gold membership program. You'll get 2 yearly tests of your entire AC system to keep it running smooth all year. That's epic. Plus, no interest financing for 18 months. That's epic. Visit EpicHVACService.com today and trust the experts at Epic Cool Heating and Air to keep your home comfortable. That's EpicHVACService.com.
Hicken here for Bound 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bound 9. Visit Bound 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bound 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to website customtreesurgeons.com. That's customtreesurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
Jaguars Today Monday is built by Dream Finders Homes.
Official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Visit Monahan Jewelers now through Valentine's Day for savings on all GIA certified diamonds and discounts store-wide up to 40% off. And interest-free financing on all purchases. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. Monahan's has it all. We're not a chain store. We're your local family jeweler since 1977 with a world-class inventory of fine jewelry and diamonds and gemstones available in any size. Support your local family jeweler now through Valentine's with huge savings on our inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
If fishing is in your DNA, hop in the boat with Captain Kevin. It's the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Hammond, Valentine's Day is coming up. Got any romantic plans?
Dad, I'm married to Clean Air. My plan is to help Jacksonville families breathe easier.
You're helpless, but Clean Air does sound nice. Can duct cleaning really help?
Absolutely. Dust, allergens, even odors can build up in your ducts. Cleaning them now makes your air fresher and healthier for your family. The EPA says better indoor air quality can reduce health risk.
So cleaning ducts are like Valentine's Day gift for the house.
Exactly. Forget chocolates. Fresh air lasts longer and doesn't melt. Plus, we've got a February special, $100 off your total.
All right, sign me up. Maybe fresh air will make Mom fall in love with me again all over.
You'll have to take her to dinner for that, but cleaner air will definitely help.
Fair enough. Jacksonville, if you're ready to show your home some love, Google Zerorez and read over 7,000 five-star reviews. Zerorez.
Spelled Florida backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zerorez.
When you head out for a night with friends or going to the big game, don't forget the best game plan to win the night is to designate a driver and guarantee a safe ride home. Hydrating between buds is the best play you can make. Bud Light, reminding all to drink wiser.
Mia here. Since 1982, Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made the process so easy. She came to my house and designed a beautiful walk-in closet that's already so incredibly functional for me and old Beau Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 1-800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com. And take advantage of extended savings this month. Get 40% off and another 15% off with 18-month special financing.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 87.
I see RJ Saunders back to being a Laker fan now that they traded for Luka Doncic. Guys in here draped in Magic gear every day, and then the Lakers make this trade, and all of a sudden he's back on the Laker bandwagon. Unbelievable, man. Just unbelievable. All right, coming down the stretch here on Jaguars today, our question of the day. Which of these best matches your opinion on whether or not the Jags should draft Travis Hunter if he's available with the 5th pick? By the way, tomorrow, Tuesday Top 5 will just simply be rank them in order. What is your 5-player wish list for the 5th pick? No one's off the table. No, we're not going to tell you that, no, you can't have Travis Hunter there. He's not going to fall there. He probably won't, but he could. And if he does, he's certainly eligible to be included. If you want one of those quarterbacks, you're crazy, but you can put him in there, whatever you want. Any player who's draft eligible is eligible for your response tomorrow. That's tomorrow, Tony. Today we said you might be interested in Hunter because you think he's the best player available. 50% of the people said that. You might not because you think he's overhyped. 19% went with that. That was the second most in any category. Third was, I'm not sure what position he's going to play. 16.5% said that makes him less attractive to them. And 14.5% said, well, for that very reason. He's a unique two-way talent that we can't afford to pass up. Which one of those most matches how you feel about Travis? Would Travis Hunter, first of all, be one of your 5 top options for tomorrow?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm not sure where he's going to be in the 5 yet for me, but he'll be in the 5.
Okay, so what most attracts you to Travis Hunter?
I think if he's still there at 5, especially, he'll be the best player available to the Jags at 5. Like, I do think it's hard for me to imagine there being a player that I have a higher opinion of than Travis Hunter if he's still available to the Jaguars at 5, right? Like, and again, trying to do the math in my own head as to who I might have a slightly higher opinion of than Hunter, and I'm not totally sure that I do have a higher opinion of anyone else in the draft, really, than I do Travis Hunter. But if he's still there at 5, then the reason to make the pick is he's the best player available, and he can do all those different things, and I'll have all the questions about what does he want to be, what do they want to do, how are they going to use him. Like, all those things will still come into play, but I'll be looking at it saying they got the best player they could possibly get.
All right, I would probably tend to agree that he would be the best available, but what attracts me to him more is probably the unique two-way talent that he has. Because if he's just a receiver, would I be attracted? I'd be all right. You know, maybe he's the best player available there. Maybe he's not. Maybe a different style of receiver would be a better fit with the Jags. You know, if you're looking, you've got a field stretcher. Do you want a big-bodied red zone guy? You know, he is, Travis Hunter is 6'1", 185. He's not that big. When you look at the top 12 receivers, at least I looked on one site's ranking, the top 12 prospects, there are only really like 2 that fit the mold in terms of the height-weight ratio between them. There are some shorter guys like who are 5'11", and they weigh 20 pounds more. They're much stockier, much thicker type players. So I do think it is something about, like, it's not that I necessarily think he's going to be a full-time guy at the NFL level, but if anyone could be, why wouldn't it be a guy who was able to play that amount of snaps in college to break the mold? I mean, there have been all kind of mold breakers. Can't have a mobile running quarterback it succeed in the NFL, right, Tony? Until you did, and now, like, a lot of the top quarterbacks are exactly that, right? You've got to break the mindset, and maybe he is the guy that can do that, but I just think he has star written all over him, right? He was the number 1 recruit in the country and decided to pass up Florida State for Jackson State and then followed Deion to Colorado, where he not only flourished, he won the Heisman at what was considered by many to be his secondary position. I just think this is a guy that the moment is not going to be too big for him. And, you know, I'd obviously want to have a sound plan for how you're going to use him. I don't just want to say, hey, let's get him in here and figure it out.
Yeah.
Have that plan in place. But I more lean towards, he's certainly not off my board with the 5th pick in the draft, and it's more what he has shown to be this unique guy. If he was just a guy who caught 90 balls for 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns, that's great. There's usually a few of those guys every year that have those kind of numbers. Sometimes they work out. Other times they don't when it comes to translating to the National Football League. So that's where I'm at on that. Dylan, how do you feel about Travis Hunter and the Jaguar fit?
I lean, what position is he going to play, to answer the poll question? I mean, it's like, okay, if he does plan on playing both ways but the whole time, just under this circumstance, he gets hurt. Now you're losing 2 key positions with one guy. So how do you replace that? That's kind of where I lean. I think we're going to know once we get through the combine, once we get through his pro day, like what position is he going to lean more? Because I don't think he's going to play both ways the entire game once he gets to whatever team he's going to go to. I think he's going to lean either corner more and a little bit of receiver or vice versa.
Yeah, but he will, I think, add value in that way. And I get what you're saying, like what happens, but you're looking at the worst case scenario. Okay, he gets hurt. Now you got to replace 2 starters, potentially, right? But what about when he's healthy, right? You've just potentially saved yourself an entire roster spot and having a potentially starting caliber level guy. Again, I'm not saying that he's definitively playing 2 ways in the National Football League, but I'm saying if you're ever thinking a guy might be able to do it, I mean, this guy has played the amount of snaps that makes me at least wonder, Tony, if it's not possible that he goes down that road. Now, he's playing those snaps in a shorter college season that he'll be playing in the National Football League, but I'm not going to write it off completely, and I'd be disappointed, quite frankly, if you took – and now, if he comes in and stars at one position or the other, fine, but when you've got a guy that has this ability that he has shown, for you not to at least have a plan to utilize it to some degree, that would be disappointing to me. Like, if you take Will Johnson, you know you're taking him to play corner. So I get it. If you take Travis Hunter and you say, hey, initially, this is our vision, let him focus on one position as he eases his way into the National Football League, and maybe future years will expand that. I don't know. He just may be a unique guy that we haven't seen to this degree. Again, we go back to Charles Woodson. We looked at how often he played on offense when he was, quote-unquote, the two-way player, a defensive player who played on offense, who won the Heisman Trophy. It was a fraction of what Travis Hunter is doing out there right now. And, you know, he's not taking on linebackers in the running game like a tight end would or anything like that. He's a smaller guy. He's not going to seek out contact, but there have been plenty of receivers at 6'1", 185, I think, that can flourish. Like the size doesn't turn me off with Travis Hunter. But anyway, you know, right now more people are on your line of thinking that he's just going to be the best available player, period, when the Jags pick is on the board, if he were to be available at that point in time. So I imagine he's going to show up in a lot of people's top 5 lists. Probably not 100% tomorrow. We'll post that question later on this afternoon if you want to get a head start to thinking about it. Certainly, you're welcome to do that. Your biggest concern, this is, I guess, in regards to what you have said, Dylan, on the text line, your biggest concern on a guy that could possibly play both ways is what would you do if he gets injured? Good grief. Right. I do think the positive outweighs, like if he was a guy that was capable of taking that on, yeah, it would be a negative when you lose him because now you're losing on both sides of the game plan. But I think you more than make up for it for the time that he is out there. If he's that kind of guy, even if he's good enough to just be like your starting nickel corner and he doesn't play 100% of the snaps, and he is your second best wide receiver to Brian Thomas Jr., that's a lot of value you're bringing to the team.
But I do think there are reasons that we haven't seen players be asked to do that, right? At the same kind of level that Travis Hunter was allowed to do it at Colorado, and it's because you are exposing yourself to more injury risk.
Sure.
Right? And so that being a part of it, if it is in some people's mind is, I don't know. Like, even if he was going to play both ways, if you think that's where it's going to wind up, it's, do I really want to have a guy that's going to be exposed that much on the football field when everyone is going to be so much bigger, so much faster, so much more physical than anything he's dealt with to this point in his football playing career? I can understand that as something to be nervous about if he states that he wants to do both. Right? Like if he's very solid on I'm both, and I'm going to do both, and I'm going to do it on every snap if they allow me to do it. Right? If that's the way that he feels about it going into the draft process, then react to that when we hear that that's what he wants. But I think the NFL is likely going to say we want you to do one or the other more, and we'll have plans for how to do a little bit more with you than we would a typical player, but you're not going to get to play every snap on offense and defense in a game, right? Like it's not going to happen in the National Football League, but until he expresses that that's what he wants when he goes to the NFL, I'm not all that worried about it.
All right. Again, congrats to Tony Boselli for coming in as the new EVP of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm sure that'll be a big talking point this week and going forward. A couple on the text line here. we can't miss at pick 5. Too risky. Go with a sure thing if there is a sure thing. Well, who's a sure thing in the NFL draft? I mean, hardly ever is there such a thing in the NFL draft. But I get it if you think he is particularly too risky for whatever combination of reasons. So anyway, and also this one, did that headset come with the 1999 Apple desktop? No, this is my original Walkman headset from back in the day when I tried to be just like Back to the Future when I'd slip my headset on my sleeping dad and I blast some Van Halen at him.
There you go.
So, because these are nice and light and airy. So, yeah, they work. I'll tell you that. I can hear myself. So that's a plus, at least in my book. Not for everybody. All right, let's say hello to Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
All right, good morning, Mia O'Brien.
Hello, how are we doing?
How do you feel about Boselli being the EVP of the Jaguars?
I was curious to see the title because much like Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, I expected it to be much more of the Chris Spielman assistant to the owner, unofficial, like no actual power, so to speak, in terms of actually like being able to have like any sort of, making massive decisions for the team outside of providing advice and counsel to the owner and other decision makers. So that was my expectation.
Right, but what massive decisions do we know that Tony will be allowed to make?
Yeah, we don't know.
For the organization.
We don't know right now. Again, I'm just kind of pouring through the statement right now that the Jags sent out, and it obviously sounds much more of the administrative role. What I think a lot of people don't realize, Mike, is that the general manager isn't just in charge of roster construction and personnel, the draft, evaluating free agents. There's also some administrative responsibilities. And so, especially depending on which route the Jaguars go when it comes to their general manager, if Tony Boselli can maybe lighten the load for that person while also lightening the load for some other people at the MAC, I think that could be beneficial to many parties.
All right, so what's coming up today?
Well, obviously, we'll dive headfirst into that as well as the other names that reportedly will join Liam Cohen's first staff with your Jacksonville Jaguars. R.J. Saunders is a man of few words, but he is wandering around 1010XL headquarters right now. Everybody's asking him, Luka, Lakers, I need more intel. What exactly? He is the source right now at 1010XL headquarters, and we're excited to have him.
Which is
as our
rare
producer and
as an
dive into
Orlando Magic fan that he would have that kind of insight into another team.
Yeah, so
I mean, he tries to deny that he wears Magic gear around here all the time.
We love the Orlando Magic. Shout out Dante. We love the team down there. We're excited to always partner with them and bring you Magic games here on the airwaves of the Superstation. So RJ's just supporting the brand and supporting the employer while also still being a Los Angeles native and Lakers
Appreciate
fan.
the business relationship. As a Knicks fan, wouldn't catch me dead wearing another team's gear.
You been in the Eastern Conference?
Another team's gear.
I do
in
get
any sport.
You did give me flack because I have a Braves hat. So, yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
exactly.
It's just a cool looking hat. And again, one of my mentees is the on-field host. Shout out Lauren Hoffman. I'm just supporting my friends, and it's well, speaking of fashion,
my friends play for the teams that I root for.
This is the team that I root for. When people ask, when they say she's an Iowa football, Iowa State basketball, no, this is the team that I root for. We will salute the GOAT, Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson as well.
See ya. All right. There goes Mia O'Brien. Whatever. However you feel about Iowa.
So thankful that I've always kept that simple.
I mean, it makes it should. So because the Raiders are in the AFC, should we wear Raiders gear in Jacksonville?
No, thank you.
What? You got it. All right. Makes no sense to me. Thanks to Hayes Carline for joining us today. Our time is done. Stick around for Helmets and Heels tomorrow. The Tuesday Top 5, your top 5 wish list for the 5th pick in the draft if you are the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, wishing you a good afternoon. We'll talk to you tomorrow from 10 to noon here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
They sacrifice so